Absolutely.
Right? So we get to establish the source of the money and so on and so forth. So, Prof Antwi, if you hear the special prosecutor make this point about money laundering and also taking into consideration that fundamental interest of establishing the source of this money, what is the concern in here for you, beyond the legal perspective that lawyer Martin Bebo has just espoused?
Thank you, Alfred. I think that patriotism have lost its way in our land because all over the world in Europe and the Northern America, they have what they call the Patriot Act. And Patriot Act means that even $10,000 before you take it at the airport, when the TSA realize that you have $10,000 on you, they will stop you from traveling. If you go to the bank and you want to take money, $10,000 from your account, they will report to the government because we want to know what you're going to use the money for. So money issues borders on patriotism. Now, that is why they call it the Patriot Act. When we come to our land, I don't see any patriotism in this Cecilia Dapaah's case. There's no patriotism. Why? First, when we say somebody is laundering money, it means the person is concealing the source of the money or the origin of the money. So is it coming from a foreign account? We don't know. That is laundering. But we are all aware that this money is internal.
Well, we don't know.
But we don't have
sure.
any sources as of now.
Yes, we
because
don't know
I've talked
the source
about
of
this
the
issue.
money.
There have been many articles written about me on this issue. We don't have anything on record that the money came from a foreign bank account. Right? So if we don't have any information that is coming from a foreign account, and then we also don't have any information that Madam Cecilia Dapaah was involved in a legitimate business that she used to generate this money. And these two causes money laundering. First, if it is coming from a foreign account, bank account, or we are having a situation where the person has a legitimate business, but the money is coming from different angles, and we don't have the time to go into
when
that.
we started this conversation,
Yes.
Alfred Thompson was in this studio and he referred to some cosmetics business. You were the one who said the
It's
cosmetics.
unraveled.
Yes, unraveled.
Eventually,
Yes.
we got to know that
Alfred,
that was not.
you know,
it had nothing to do with the cosmetic business.
Yeah.
No,
we were
no,
able
no,
to
no,
establish
no,
that.
no. Please.
She had a business. It could be.
Please, Alfred, I think
Yes,
about the
yes,
flaws.
yes,
So
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Prof,
yes,
just a little
yes.
bit. Make a small caveat for the $200,000. The husband's.
But you get the opportunity
Okay, so
rebut on
no,
it.
I only
That's fine.
I made
I don't
reference
have
to
any
what.
problem
Yes,
with
yes,
that.
it's okay. It's okay.
Because we
Gentlemen,
can always
it's-
agree to disagree
Indeed.
agreeably. What we want to
Absolutely.
do is to educate Ghanaians to know,
True.
the trend, and then we can all do our informed judgment on that. Now, when we talk about money laundering, is it a crime? The answer is yes. Right? We all agree that it's a crime. So if the special prosecutor is saying that this is money laundering, and because of that, it does not border on my, jurisdiction. So maybe another institution, Yoko or the police, can take over. We're going to have the same problem. Because we know from our constitution, from the Yoko and the police, the leaders are appointed by, our president. So what I am trying to say here is that if you look at the other cases that we built, we're talking about the trials of the other 6 people. The former MCE of Dwabin. We're talking about this guy, what's the name? The case of the guy, PPA, was it that? Ajeni Boateng, and all these cases, if you look at it, they are all at various stages at the court. We have witnesses who have come, they've been charged with corruption-related things. But in Cecilia Dapaah's case, I think that the special prosecutor is frustrated.
It's frustrated.
He's frustrated, and that is why he's trying to wash his hand out of that issue, because there seem to be heavy hands backing the woman, and that heavy hands is political. Let's face the fact, it's political, that those heavy hands are supporting the woman. So anywhere he turns, there's a block that he's not moving. So if you look at, let's see some of the interim applications that they have put out there. They are saying that this case is not part of where they have what they call the judiciary are stopping them from making arrests or conducting investigation or seizing assets of individuals because of suspicion. So if that is not the case, what is holding us from prosecuting this case? Because it is self-evident that we have this money. We have the money. We saw them. The amount went to the court that these are the monies taken. Now, if we have the money, that is self-evident enough. So the problem is, tell us the source of your money. right? If you don't know the source of somebody's money, how do you say it is laundering? How do you say in law that it is laundering? Because the courts should force this woman to tell us what is the source of it. She knows. If I have money and I can tell that this is the source of my money, then either the court should confiscate my money because I don't know.
Yes.
And that's in the Constitution. So if the courts, our courts, that is supposed to help the citizens or poor Ghanaians, cannot force a minister, a public servant, to tell us the source of the money, then we have a problem in this country.
So let's
can I put
just
in a
want
small
to yes,
indication on it?
just try and save some of the things that Prof you have talked about. So there's the freezing order that the special
Yes.
prosecutor sought, which was granted by the courts, and then Cecilia Dapaah sought an
She
application
pleaded,
against
yes.
it. But that freezing order is still in force, isn't it?
No, it's
No.
not been granted. What they did was that by filing. So it's a filing that, what do you call it, saved it. So they filed, and Madame Dapaah responded. Then she went ahead and got the orders thrown out. So she won.
Yes.
Then OSP went second round, re-seized and did. And that's
then
what is before.
That's where you raise concerns about some fundamental or elementary errors
some
that the OSP
did it.
committed.
Yes.
But then the other issue about, yes, the money has been seen, collected.
Yes.
But we must be able to establish beyond reasonable doubt.
Yes,
The
that
source.
is
The
a
source
crime.
of the
So,
money.
Yeah,
Alfred,
so
Alfred,
we
so
all
that's
support
why-
the fight, but
so-
we can't
yes.
force. You can't force a suspect
No,
or
if I
accused
have money,
to
you see-
incriminate. No, that one, let's come, Prof.
You
That one,
and I
even the
are
US,
private
where you
citizens.
live.
You and I are private citizens, but
yes.
I'm saying a public servant. You see,
So-
it's
so-
clear.
so-
if I'm
so-
a public servant, I am responsible and accountable to the people.
So,
because
Prof-
I'm a public servant.
Yes.
So if I have money and I cannot declare the source, then the best thing for the state to do is to confiscate that money.
So we have
that
to-
the person will
so
come.
we'll come to
That's
that.
the point that I'm saying.
But as for forcing, so I want us to clarify that when you have a suspect or an accused, you can't force that person to open the mouth and tell you that I stole
Exactly,
this money.
but
No,
this
that's
is
not
this
our
is-
law.
So,
That one,
so are you saying
most-
that we go to all these politicians' homes and then we find money, and the courts cannot help us to determine? I'm using the different
Yeah,
word because it's
yeah.
all semantics. To determine the source of the money, and because they cannot tell us, we leave it as it is,
So
and then
we
they fight back.
confiscate.
Because what the special
Yes.
prosecutor by December, their report is saying that her plea as an accused is yet to be taken.
Yes.
And then the other one is that her document
That's
is yet
the-
to be assigned to a new judge.
Yeah, so let's explain that.
You
The
see-
plea yet to be taken is her failure to produce documents. So you see what you are saying. So let's give this education. You see, in law, right? It's not only in Ghana, in England, the same. And but I'm not sure about the US, but I've read about England. You see, when the person is a suspect, the force you are talking about, you can force the person to give you documents. Anything outside the person's this in speech, like actually telling you what is in the mind, you can do. So if there are documents, you can force the person. So if she doesn't bring it, then you can go to court. That one, the court can force her to bring it. If she doesn't bring it, then she'll get convicted. So that's when it's
Are
an
we not
external.
trying to open
no.
the right door with the right
No,
key now?
that's what I
I'm saying
said.
the same thing you're saying.
No, so there's a distinction. The force, when the document is external, you can force. So it's a crime under this law, the OSP
Right.
Act. If she doesn't bring the document, you can go to court, produce documents. And I'm saying it's the same in England.
Yes.
But when it comes to you saying that she should tell you what is in her mind, that one, no. That we call
That
it
is
the
not what I'm saying.
right against self-incrimination.
That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying specifically, so specificities are very important here. What I'm saying, you are saying the same thing that I'm saying is that she should provide documents of the source of the money. Is that not what the law
But
says?
as for the corruption,
So-
where the money came from,
So
it
you
doesn't
see,
look
corruption
like.
is a cancer that should be fast-tracked in our prosecution. I'm saying this again. If you live in a country where there is corruption, and corruption is where you are using public office for personal gain.
Well, but in this
so,
case,
so if there's a corruption-related issue, and then we have a public servant, you see, a private person is different. A public servant that this colossal amount of money has been found in your home, and then we have a special prosecutor coming in and saying that these have been considered. We know that even the FBI, there was an idea of bringing them to the fore because of this, So we have gone back and forth. How long has it taken us for one person to tell us the source of this money? So if she's not going to say anything and there's no documentation, can't you process with the law and make sure that justice is done?
so it's a question you are asking, you see, and that's where People keeps coming in with the legal framework and understanding of what the law really says. What you're saying is what, you know, as you're indicating from as Ghanaian, this is what you wish should be the case. But then again, the law in court is that it must be beyond reasonable doubt.
Alfred, that's where I have a problem. If you are using the
and
court,
we all agree.
yes, if you are using the court, you see, we all like the court because we are a sovereign nation governed by constitution.
Prof, what's your issue?
My point is that one, it has delayed so much for us to get somebody to cough out where she had the money, the source, and we've talked about it. The whole of last year I was here. Saying about she should declare, she should declare the source of this. I've said it many times. If you cannot declare the law, we have this in our constitution, that then the money should be refunded back to the state.
That one, there are even challenges with the way the law is stated.
Yes, so the special prosecutor has been frustrated with this. And if you are using the law to frustrate people who have that legal backing, statutory authority to find justice for us, then we have a problem. So let's force, I'm not saying force should be the right word, so maybe I should use another word. But I'm saying that we have to maybe cajole, or we can use any other semantics that the woman, by law, because the law will have to ask you that, look, we need to know the source of this before we make any decision. Because until we know the source, we cannot. But the woman wants the money. She says she's facing hardships. She's appealed to many places and getting the money, and a lot of things are going on. So based on that frustration, the special prosecutor is, we can all see clearly the end from the beginning that I'm trying to wash my hand, the police should come in, and then the Yoko should come in. But we know that it's not going to end anywhere when we hand over the case to the police or the Yoko. Because the special prosecutor was at an advanced stage of handling this issue until this frustration came in. And if you want to go to the bottom of it, it is very simple. Declare the source of it so that we know how to prosecute it. Other than that, we'll be running around circles and we'll never get to the conclusion of it.
And I defer that question that you asked and a quick response from you, Matibebo, because you're talking about the declaration of the source of that money. As for Cecilia Dapaah, and even the OSP was not able to establish a corruption or corruption-related offense with respect to the money.
Let's see.
Right? So if it's about the issue of the source of the monies, Cecilia Dapaah has told us that it is
cosmetic business. 2
business,
businesses, and they all didn't check out.
And what are the documents? What are the documents?
Yeah, she gave the documents on that one.
Do they tally?
No. The businesses that were she was involved in.
Yes.
And then also I'm coming, Prof, yes. And then the money she got from her deceased brother and so on. All of those
they didn't check out. Later,
that's why the special prosecutor went ahead to, as it were, do further investigation. Got more money. I'm coming, Prof. So that issue about she saying where the source of the money is, she has said it, right?
And it's proven to be false.
Fantastic.
By the OSP.
So now we are at the point where the OSP says, I suspect money laundering. Now, getting the answer to that question about establishing that it is indeed money laundering is where we are, isn't it?
Yes, excellent. And let's repeat this. So, Mr. Okansi, like you said, you see that in your narration, so far, there is a report. I'm back to the point about, beyond OSP, what? Right now, there's a report by OSP showing that Madame Dapaah had lied. She lied through her teeth. She said 2 cosmetic businesses, and it didn't check out. Then she said her deceased brother.
Did she say it at any point herself?
Yeah, they're cosmetic. It's a report the OSP released. Right. We read it. Indeed. One of the reports.
So this was the second.
You see, you see the point about, so tomorrow, and for posterity, she and her children, etc., it will be shown that, look, ma'am lied about the source of this money. That document is on the internet. And so those who are looking for criminal conviction.
Don't say just lying, but lying on oath. Because she was on oath.
You see that thing? So you see that, so Mr. Okansi, you see one of the things, Madame Dapaah is done for public office. And that alone in itself is huge for the rest of her life.
Even if we don't establish the source of the money?
Yeah, she's done because there is a public agency that's established that she went and lied. She said cosmetic business, the 2 didn't check out. Then she, mentioned the niece. Well, the niece one, the FBI is the niece of the husband, who is said to have brought in $200,000. Well, that one will leave it because FBI is investigating it. So the point is that so far there are records showing that she gave false information to what do you call it, the OSP, and that's a record against her. That's paper. It's on the net. You can access the report.
It's the details in the.
Yes.
In fact, it was a second release by the OSP on this matter.
Good. So let's go further to the rest of the source. So now it's come to the criminal source. Who gave Madame Dapaah the money? You know, some of our fellow citizens have done some, what do you call it, data mining, if I may call it loosely. They've tracked and said the World Bank, what do you call it, project.
Well, but that has not been established.
No, I'm just saying, right now, this is a court of public opinion. The rules are different.
So we don't pass judgment on that court.
No, we are bringing the arguments. Okay. Who stops us? Even in a court of law, you can go and show. Our citizens have looked at the World Bank report as against the answers Madame Dapaah gave in Parliament. You know, they say, 40. Exactly. How do you say try in English? Very lightly. Her account of how the $48 million was used. A few drains here and there. They say, is that all? And that was it. So citizens are allowed to draw their own inferences. And they are saying that World Bank project is what is being squandered. That sanitation World Bank.
But that was not established.
No, yes, it's not been said. We're just recounting the argument. So back to Professor Antwi's point that the source. Like I've said, as for that, our constitution says that you can't compel the person. So that's Article 19. You can't compel the person to give you that evidence. And even before the Constitution 1992 came, that's been the law for over how many, as long, under the common law.
I have a question for you.
Self-incrimination.
You cannot compel somebody to give evidence.
That's open the mouth.
But at the court, everything is evidence.
Yes.
But the evidence is solved there. No, Alfred, I'm just clarifying issues. That the evidence is the money that we found. And if we cannot tell...
But I think that you've made that point. That's why I
and we all support.
Question.
We are all paid by...
But you cannot use the law to threaten the citizens.
The understanding is that after, yes, the money is there, the question now is establishing the source of the money.
Yes.
I think that's where the OSP is saying, okay, I suspect money laundering.
But do you know even what is
that's his suspicion.
So I can say, let's repeat this point. But OSP saying this is money laundering, it means that OSP now knows the source. There's a crime. Because the moment you say money laundering,
it's a crime.
There must be a predicate of it. Is it narcotics? Is it theft? Is it tax evasion? What is it? But OSP, by saying the case is money laundering, meaning that, okay, it's not government money that she stole directly. It may be, because if it was the government, but no, if it's steal,
okay, so
there's a certain offense. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
Indeed, this is how it reads, and I'll come to you, Mr. Thompson, on this. It says the investigation shows that the case is largely in the province of suspected money laundering.
Yes.
Yes, structuring.
And that means that then,
yes.
And the structuring, look, structuring just simply structuring. He's talking about the money that was taken to the bank account. You see the payments. So he's saying that, let's say, it appears there was a bulk figure. You know, we used to hear about $5 million. That's the total volume of transactions. But if you walk into any bank with $5 million today, it's likely the bank will give you up. So you don't go with $5 million. Today you go with what? $490,000. You know the FIC has a threshold. The Financial Intelligence Center has a threshold. So you look at the threshold and pay below that. So you keep paying below that, below that. That's the structuring. So you split the money into several transactions so that you operate below the radar. But I'm saying that what we should be pushing now is that OSC, by saying this is money laundering, means that he's seen a new offense, except that it's not corruption.